You're watching Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Just in, the Seahawks have secured the 18th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft after the win over the Los Angeles Rams, 30-25. The Seahawks with the best record of non-playoff teams. They also made a little bit of history. They are the first ever team in the 14-team playoff era to miss the postseason with a 10-7 record. So they missed the playoffs, but they are the best team to ever not make the postseason. They'll pick 18th. That certainly has some implications when it comes to this draft. I personally am of the belief that there are only two quarterbacks with first-round grades in my book, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. They will be well off the board when Seattle picks at 18. So if you were one that was hoping for a quarterback, Seattle better trade up if they're going to take a quarterback, because there is not any other first-round quarterbacks in this draft. So that certainly makes things interesting. We'll discuss all of that, look at the team needs and what Seattle could do from here coming up on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. But first, want to remind you to subscribe to the channel. We just passed 62,000 subs here on Seahawks Today, and we're not stopping there. We're going to continue to bring you daily news and rumors. We'll do our live shows every Monday and Wednesday starting tomorrow right here on Seahawks Today, so don't miss out on that. And we are going to continue to bring you breaking news, QDML bags. It is going to be one of the most important off seasons in the history of the Seattle Seahawks, and I want to make sure you're a part of every single moment of it. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV, and you'll be glad you did. Seattle, their draft picks. They will have a first-round pick, a second-round pick, a third-round pick, a fourth, fifth, 2 6th, and a seventh-round pick as well in this April's draft. And this comes after a 30-25 win over the LA Rams today. And I think when you look at this Seahawks team, you have a lot of momentum, right? Even though you didn't make the postseason, you won 10 games. And you think about it, this Seahawks team has a pretty decent number of flaws, even with them winning 10 games. The NFC was extremely difficult this year. And yet, you still have a lot of problems to fix on the offensive line. You have some big question marks when it comes to the corner position. You got to figure out what you're doing at the inside linebacker position. Those are just to name a few. And now you head into the offseason, coming off this win against the LA Rams here, where we don't know about Geno Smith's future. Are you going to bring him back? Geno played great in his final outing with 4 touchdowns, as well as 223 yards, 20 of 27. Is Geno going to be back? Is he? And if he's back, is he going to get a long-term extension or not? That's something Seattle has to figure out. The running back position, I think that Charbonnet has shown that he can do a very good job. I like what K9 brings to the table, but the offensive line doesn't really help them out. What are you going to do about that? Noah Fant was your leading receiver today with 5 catches for 63 yards and a touchdown. His first touchdown score in 2 years. Second straight game that he's led Seattle in receiving. But can the Hawks do better at the tight end position? And if you recall, last year, I told you that Brock Bowers was one of my favorite players in the entire draft, and I was all over Brock Bowers. And Seattle did not trade up for Brock Bowers. Now he's on pace to be the best tight end in the National Football League, a guy Seattle missed out on. Tyler Warren looks like the Brock Bowers 2.0. Do you potentially make a move for a Tyler Warren potentially? And on top of that as well, for those of you who say, well, you got to focus on the offensive line, last time I checked, the tight end position was on the offensive line. I think that would help out the offensive line and the receiving game as well. Something to think about there. Who is a player the Seahawks should draft? We've already done a video in the last couple of days talking about draft targets, but I want to hear from you guys. Who's a player that comes to mind that you think the Seahawks should draft? Weigh in the comments section and let us know. Today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less. Whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, all sorts of different categories to choose from. Go to PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS. Get $50 to play for free when you play $5. You don't even have to win to get the money. And on Prize Picks right now, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Today I went with Geno to have more than 246.5 passing yards. Went with Devontae Adams to have more than 67.5 receiving yards. If both those hit and I put $20 down, that would turn into $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, proud partner of Seattle Seahawks Today. All right, let's go over the team needs for the Hawks this offseason. The offensive tackle spot is a big concern. Charles Cross is going to hold things down at the left tackle spot, but Abraham Lucas, when he's healthy, he's solid, but he's had problems staying healthy. You are going to need help at that offensive tackle position. The interior of the offensive line, all three spots, left guard, center, and right guard, none of those, you have reason to think you have your long-term answer there. You need help. The edge rusher position, this was the biggest underwhelming position for Seattle, I think, defensively in the 2024 campaign. You had Boye Mafe coming off leading this team in sacks, and he took a step back this year. Derek Hall showed up in moments, but he was never consistent. Uchenna Nwosu had his injuries. Draymond Jones was a disaster. He'll be gone. Needs some more help there. A linebacker position, you got to figure out a contract extension with Ernest Jones, and that seems to be an ongoing thing that's going to have some obstacles to go through over the next few weeks. And then you also need somebody to play next to him as well. Tyrese Knight showed some promise, but could you do better than Tyrese Knight, or maybe some depth there? The corner position, Devin Witherspoon is the only corner you can really rely on right now. Rick Woolen wasn't that great. They don't have depth behind them. The defensive line, Jaron Reed is getting older. Byron Murphy was really good. Leonard Williams was really good this year, but you need more depth there. The quarterback position, Geno, he's 34 years old. Even if you're a big Geno fan, you know he's not going to be around forever. The tight end spot, Noah Fant, they paid way too much money to. They can do better than Noah Fant. And then the wide receiver position, Tyler Lockett is likely not coming back. You need to find a way to replace him. You need some more depth. Jake Bobo is not a number 3 receiver in this league. So a few questions to think about with this Seahawks team going forward. Let's start with the quarterback. Will Geno Smith, first of all, return? And what does that look like for Seattle? Does that mean that Geno's playing out the final year of his contract? Does he get a 1-year extension? Does he get a 1-year deal with the team option? Does he get a 3 or 4-year extension? I don't know. I think Geno's coming back, but I don't know exactly how it looks when Geno comes back. And will there be a young quarterback under Geno to potentially be his successor down the line? That's something Seattle has to figure out. I do think we have seen the last of Tyler Lockett, and it's for 2 reasons. One, a business decision. You're not going to take the $30+ million cap hit that Tyler Lockett requires. That just doesn't make any sense at this point in his career to pay him that money that he's due. And then 2, he's taken a step back. He's not the same player that he used to be. Tyler Lockett has had a great run in Seattle, but it's over. I would be surprised if Tyler Lockett comes back, and I think that he can go to another team and make more money and play a more significant role on another team than he can in Seattle right now. The biggest issue with this Seahawks team in 2024, the offensive line. That was the majority of this team's problems, and it is the major priority for this Seahawks team this offseason is what they can do to fix this offensive line. That's what needs to be addressed, whether it's in the draft, whether it's free agency, whether it's trades. This is going to be what determines John Schneider's future, because it's John Schneider is the number 1 person to blame for why this offensive line is in this position that it's in right now. They've had opportunities. John Schneider didn't want to spend the high picks on the guards in the centers in the past. Cough, cough, passing up on Creed Humphrey. We all remember that, taking D. Eskridge instead of Creed Humphrey. How did that work out, right? They need to invest in this position in some way or another. And then there's another thing. We mentioned Ernest Jones earlier. I don't think Seattle has a choice. You have to re-sign Ernest Jones. What did I tell you at this time last year about Leonard Williams? I said that when you made the trade for Leonard Williams, you accepted the consequences, that no matter what, even if he hit free agency, you had to sign him and pay him and do whatever it takes to bring him back. I say the same thing here with Ernest Jones. Ernest Jones means too much to this defense. You cannot let him walk. You have to bring him back. You have to pay him, and you have to build around him as he is one of your foundational pieces for this Seahawks defense for many years to come. So, I know that was a lot to take in. Let me ask you, what is the Seahawks' biggest need in this draft? I think you got a pretty good idea what I think the answer is. Offensive line. What do you think it is? Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what the biggest need is for Seattle in this upcoming draft. Folks, want to make sure you subscribe to Seahawks Today. It has been awesome to be with you all season. Our watch parties have been incredible all year long. It's humbling with what I am able to do with y'all, Big Tex, Smitty, our entire crew. And although the watch parties are ending, doesn't mean we're going anywhere, folks. We're going to continue to bring you our daily news and rumors. We're actually expanding our live shows. We're going to do live shows on Mondays and Wednesdays at 2 o'clock Pacific time. We're going to be live for the draft. We're going to have our Q&A mailbags, our breaking news. We're not going anywhere, and I don't want you to go anywhere. Subscribe now. Tell your friends. Make sure they subscribe as well for the most comprehensive Seahawks coverage you won't find anywhere else. Subscribe now for free. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the other side.